Let it rain,
Rayman.
man.
Okay. Okay. Now listen, I know there are people out there who like this movie.
It did win an
And
Oscar.
and if you do, in the words of the Big Lebowski, Justin,
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
listen, if you like any of these movies that we're talking about, if you like any of these movies that we're talking about, more power to you.
Hmm.
We are doing this we're trying to be as fair as we can. And the movie Rain Man, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman.
Now, let's be completely fair about this because
Okay,
Yeah.
A,
different time.
different time. B, portraying what who was supposedly an actual person.
Oh, really? I didn't
See,
know that.
didn't Dustin Hoffman do the research of that person and met that person to get inspiration?
I believe so.
So he actually did his homework.
So I'll
And C,
give
he
credit
did.
to him on that.
And D, we really haven't had anything like this before.
Yep.
It's almost like this is going to be a weird comparison, but it's almost like the Gone with the Wind of autism movies.
Mm,
Hmm.
makes
Really?
sense.
I care to hear what you have to say.
Well, Gone with the Wind, one of the first big movies to feature actual black actors instead of white actors in blackface. Okay, maybe not. Now, granted, Dustin Hoffman does not have autism, but it brought awareness to autism in a time where it was still something that you would send your child to an institution over.
Well, to me, this movie, and like, listen, there are people I know out there, and I can respect them for saying this if they like the movie, but they admit this is not an accurate depiction of autism.
It didn't age particularly well.
Well, I think for its time, I think it was okay for its time
The term is fair for its time, yeah.
because not much was known about autism in 1988.
Exactly. Our science marched on, our understanding increased.
But if you watched our movies didn't age well thing, this is something I got really angry about. The late great Roger Ebert, God rest his soul, he said, "Well, Dustin Hoffman's character has the disease known as autism." I'm like, sitting there, autism isn't a disease, you dumbass. But then
1980.
I have to stop and think, okay, this was a different time.
It was 1988 too.
But and like, here's the thing, because I've heard this before. To me, I'm sort of in the middle of this one because has anyone ever heard this phrase? You can't apply 21st century values to something that was made decades ago.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to be destroying everything.
In some cases, I don't think, listen, like when they bring up stuff that can be seen as offensive and they want to ban it, make sure these things never see the light of day.
Like most of the 80s.
Like, I'm against that because, in a way, we kind of limited ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like on one hand, you can't apply. I can see why this stuff is offensive. And if they do a re-release of this movie or put it on streaming, maybe they should put this film
Disclaimer.
is a product of its time. We know this is just one type of autism. Keep an open mind. But like there is a scene, which I do give them credit for, in which Tom Cruise's what's Tom Cruise's character's name again?
I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment there.
It's been a
It's
while,
this is
but
my this is on
Oh,
my to
Tom
see list
Cruise.
though. Oh, let's go to IMDb.
yeah, maybe you could do a reaction
Oops, hold on.
for this movie.
We could. 1 second. I don't care if we're on Google it. Tom Cruise's character's name was
Charlie.
Charlie
Charlie
Babbitt,
Babbitt.
and Dustin Hoffman's character's name was Raymond Babbitt.
Hence Rain Man.
Yes.
Because right after Charlie and Raymond meet for the first time, he's talking to the doctor from the institution, and he goes, "Oh well, Raymond is an autistic savant," and he goes, "So he's a." I'm not gonna say that word. I know it was a different time, but I don't even want to give dignity to that word.
I know what word you're talking.
The
I don't
R
like.
word. I know that is an actual condition, but I do not like that word.
Oh, it's a word that's thrown around so liberally.
Mm.
Like if you want to use that word in its proper format, fine.
Even then, there's different ways of saying it.
No, because I've heard that word a lot, and that makes me angry.
You wouldn't survive at my place of work.
Oh, they use that word a lot.
Yeah.
I just
But you know
wondered.
what? I'm,
Go
I'm going to
ahead.
say this to all those people out there who go like, "Oh, you're just a snowflake. We talk like real men. You're just all PC culture." No, I'm not for PC culture. I'm not for cancel culture. I'm for being decent.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm for treating people with I'm for treating people with respect.
Mhm.
And if that makes
Absolutely.
me a snowflake or an SJW, then so be it. Then
And if you don't like it, I mean, we got two words for you.
what are those?
F
It's a
off.
wrestling. Yeah, I was gonna say suck it, but
We get
W-
but
a
here's the
wrestling
thing.
thing.
we
But
we could just say suck it, guys. We don't have to go that specific about it.
All right.
anyway, when he goes, so he's that word. He goes, no, 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 he's not that. He's actually very smart. He's very smart. He's very good with this. He has skills. He's a savant. He's very good at math. Well, to me, like back then, I think they were trying to be kind, but at the end of the day, but I think nowadays, I think that could be a bit problematic. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Mm.
Especially since this movie kind of molded the public opinion on autism pretty much to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone ask me one time, and you've all heard this story.
Oh, okay. I've heard this story before.
Yeah. I've
I
heard
won't
this.
get into the whole thing, but somebody asked me, "Oh, do you have a savant skill like in Rain Man?"
Oh God.
I don't know if that's ignorance or just plain stupidity.
I once had an employer ask me that about my brother.
Seriously,
Yep.
I hope you filed a complaint or something.
Um, he owned his own business, so
Well, Justin, if you do you want to tell me here? Or do you want to tell me off air how you handle that situation?
Off
I
air.
mean, I just said no, he doesn't.
Because that's the thing, and I think that's the negative thing that this movie has done. everyone who is on the spectrum automatically, and the people who think this movie is accurate, they think every person on the spectrum is Raymond. That's not the case. And listen, I'm giving this movie a little bit of grace because it's a product of its time.
Yeah, of course.
But nowadays, oh God, I feel like I'm contradicting myself. I said we can't apply 21st century values to everything. But at the same time,
At the same time, though,
we can
the
acknowledge things don't
world
age
is
well.
applying 20th century values to the 21st century
Yep.
because of this movie.
And because, again, the time it came out, not too many people knew much about autism.
No one really did to this extent
So
today. So
I think the people who worked on this film, again, I think they had good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had good intentions, but at the same time, I think they didn't know what it was going to do over 30 years later.
Yeah.
can I chime
And
in for a second? Oh no, go ahead.
absolutely, go right ahead, go right ahead.
Okay, okay. I just want to say, for those of you who don't know, and for those who've been listening to us for any period of time now, we do this show live on YouTube first, and then it goes uploaded to podcast form afterwards. I just want to thank the chat board first and foremost. They have a bunch of questions for us, actually. Um,
Ooh,
yes, I'm doing that. We don't normally do this, but I mean, we've been doing this podcast for almost 4 years now, so we might as well do this at some point. Someone in the chat board said, "At what point does someone with autism stop being a character and become a prop?"
okay.
I,
First
I,
of
wa-
all,
wait,
that
I worded that wrong. Forgive me. At what point does someone with autism stop being a character trait and become a prop? Excuse me.
okay, and this is from Bernadette Shard. So, Bernadette, first of all, thank you for your question.
Yes.
Catherine.
Mm.
Oh, that is Catherine. Well,
Thank you,
Catherine, thank you
Catherine.
for your question.
Justin's girlfriend
Um,
chimed in a little bit.
when does a person stop being a prop? Maybe when they show them that, okay, yes, they're autistic, but that's
When
not,
autism isn't portrayed as their only character trait.
I think
Yeah,
that's a fair point. I don't think it should be portrayed as a character trait. They shouldn't make them one dimensional. Allie, agree?
I do agree. And I'm wondering, has there ever been a media like that?
Where they have autism portrayed as,
A person and not
and
Honestly,
not,
this figure?
honestly, television seems to do a little better with that.
There's a
okay,
transition.
we can get to that in a bit. Because Justin, you said you had other movies to touch on.
Um,
Wait, Allie, do you have any? I'm sorry, I'm missing the order here.
Not that I could think of.
You're good, bud. No worries.
I mean, I do know that in the 2017 Power Rangers movie, they made the Blue Ranger autistic.
And how do they portray that?
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
Okay, so
I
maybe
did.
we should talk about that.
There's a review of it on our channel. Check it out.
But anyway, Rayman, final thoughts. How do you think Dustin Hoffman portrayed Rayman?
I mean, he did the best he could with the research that he did. Um, he portrayed one person on the spectrum, and we really shouldn't fault him for Hollywood thinking that that's everybody on the spectrum.
And you know what? This is someone once said to me: you meet one person on the spectrum, you meet one person on the spectrum.
Correct.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's not like one person on the spectrum defines
No, that's
the
not
the
true at
whole
all.
spectrum. That's why they call it.
The
A
spectrum.
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 It's not just, and I feel like, autism is more diverse than people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Very diverse.
Because it's not just because I think the problem with films are either of how it's portrayed in the media. You either have Maddie Ziegler's character from Sia or Rayman.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no
There's
middle
no
ground.
there's no middle ground. Yep.
They're either extremely low functioning or they're a savant.
Hmm.
So